Listen, y'all, I love the way that this house looks. For example, this is exactly what I want in this neighborhood. That's gorgeous. Nice brick. It's got a nice front porch area. It's got a nice kid riding an invisible bike. Riding a teddy bear. Hey y'all, it's Tender Gremlin, and this is the Waterloo series. We're on console on the Seven Lakes map, and we're building a city with distinct neighborhoods and paying close attention to the residential density. So throughout this series, I've been showing the way that I use a variety of techniques to build a city with thoughtful density transitions and taking advantage of what's available to console players so that we get more than just that zany, cartoonistic building style that comes with the base game. So we're going to keep expanding on that today with a new neighborhood. But before we jump into that, we just flew by a completely burned down park, and I gotta pop into that park that completely burned down in the last episode, I think. I've been curious about the progression of how the park would come back after, it turned into burnt toast. So yeah, I guess it's looking a little less crispy than the last episode. Last time it was pretty charred, but I guess we'll pop back in later and see what it looks like. So this is the area we're gonna work on building a new neighborhood today, over here along the lakeside. This neighborhood is going to be the first area to fully shift away from the very rigid grid that the rest of the city has. So it's across the lake here from the forestry industry. I'm gonna build this out with some curves, a little bit more unique street layout, as you'll see it pop up here. And I want the neighborhood to be a blend of older bungalows and historic brick houses that you just don't get in the base game. This neighborhood's going to be Beechwood Square, and I'm going to use the University City Content Creator Pack district style to achieve what I'm looking for. This creator pack is by the iconic KingLeno, and yes, I know this is going to be tricky because the level 1s and level 2 houses in this pack are pretty run down looking, kind of gritty looking. I know that was intentional, and I love that about this pack. That's of course realistic. It's a great addition to this game, and we'll do that elsewhere. But this neighborhood is going to be a well-maintained, desirable, wealthy neighborhood. Also very realistic for the location of the city. Very close proximity to downtown and some of the older parts of the city. So I'm detailing out here an area that I've clustered schools and sort of higher end community school, which is alternative to the elementary school, and then a high school, little park campus. Just want to make this area look very nice as sort of like a center for this neighborhood. Okay, quick detour because I have ADHD. Pearl Hill Park grew back. It's lush, it's green. So as I suspected, after newly acquiring the Natural Disaster DLC, the burned down park just returned to normal. Alright, back to Beechwood Square. I've got the bones of the new neighborhood set up. I've done some incremental zoning, so now to address public transit. We've got some bus routes that I had previously set up, a couple of loops that meet up at the inner city bus station. Got this blue route that goes out to the forestry industry. So I'm going to finish connecting this new orange Beechwood route to get that set up and ready. Also have a couple of spots where the lines meet to offer transfer options. And then you can also see this wider light purple line for the tram lines that I'm going to set up in a minute. So those will be centered along the long diagonal cut-through street, and will also lead down to the high-density downtown area down here that I'll build in the future. But yeah, let's get these trams set up and going. Important next step, choosing the right tram vehicle. So I want something that looks pretty modern, doesn't need to be massive, some of these have really high capacity, but yeah, let's take a look at what these look like. Yeah, I think that looks good. Looks like trams I've seen in other cities. Often, a lot of times they're called like a streetcar, not a tram. But yeah, I think that looks good. Well, unfortunately, the road I previously chose here is causing some problems with the new trams. It's likely going to lead to traffic issues with too many vehicles queuing up in the same lane as the tram, so I switched it to a dedicated center running dedicated tram lane here on this arterial road, and of course it causes a bigger mess before it clears out, but it will clear out, I hope. So we're back to Beechwood Square, our new neighborhood. Extended out some of the streets a little further, and we're doing some more incremental zoning for another extension of this neighborhood. So a fancy neighborhood like this would definitely have a better looking waterfront park here. So we're going to work on a new park called Spring Garden. A fancy neighborhood like this would definitely have a waterfront park with a nice path running along the water through it. And I'm going to detail this out a bit and check back in a moment. So I thought I wanted to add a little more depth and detail to the shore here with these plants, but you'll see in a minute here that I'm going to pretty much erase a lot of it and instead opt for some rock formations. I think the rock formations really help a shore like this, especially when it's an area where there's no like beach, there's no like gravel or sand available to us on console. So tried out a few different things here with some rock formations to just make this look a little more interesting. I'm doing a little detailing here along this fence to give some separation to the houses that abut this park. I don't always do this, but in a neighborhood that is this wealthy, there probably would be some fences and some vegetation to create a little more separation. Alright, I think it's looking pretty good, but we are going to need some parking. I don't love that this parking is covered, but when you're on console, you use what's available, and that's fine. So here's an in-progress flyover. You can see the houses are not fully leveled up yet, but we will get there, people. Just hold on, sit tight. Got more work to do. And speaking of leveling up, it is at this point that I notice a major problem, unfortunately. Something that I didn't realize and had to learn via realizing my mistakes, unfortunately. It's at this point that I realize this house here is a level 5, and it's no longer a University City Pack house. So after going to check, it turns out that this pack only includes level 1 through 4. So this house is exactly what I do not want to see in this neighborhood at all. So I could start over, pick a different district style. That would certainly be faster than what I'm about to do, which is bulldoze this shit and painstakingly watch for every single house to reach level 4 and make it historic to stop it from changing to that nasty futuristic cartoon house at level 5. How could you do this to me, KingLeno? KingLeno is like one of my favorite content creators. And this pack is one of my favorite packs as well, but how did I not know it didn't have any level 5s? How? Listen, y'all, I love the way that this house looks. For example, this is exactly what I want in this neighborhood. That's gorgeous. Nice brick. It's got a nice front porch area. It's got a nice kid riding an invisible bike. A teddy bear. Teddy bear, okay. Sorry, I have ADHD. Did I say that already? Like, where are my ADHD builders at? When I'm working on a series, it is a struggle not to jump around at random from one task to the next, to whatever I stumble upon. If you can relate, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Alright, I got a few more things on the agenda. I want to connect these two lakes. Would that realistically happen? No. But if I connect the lakes, this city is going to have access to shipping all the way far out there on the edge of the map down the line. I don't need it yet, but I will need it later. The other advantage is that for some reason the game thinks that this water is basically a river because it starts flowing more quickly now. And that change to the water conditions means that salmon will now be available in this area. And so for the fishing industry, salmon are a much more valuable resource than anchovies. So this is a pretty big bonus. And then finally, building this bridge over the now connected lakes will give us our first complete road around this side of the lake, connecting over to the forestry industry that's on the other side. Alright, it took me forever, but I've continued to look for and make the houses historic before they reach level 5, and this is going to make this neighborhood look like what I'm actually trying to create. Realistically, you know, when this neighborhood was built, the homes would never start out looking like these 1s and 2s. The homes would probably have been built in like the early 1900s, so they would be, you know, built by wealthy people in those areas. Yeah, they'd start out looking like a level 4. Alright, before we wrap it up, I just want to take a moment to appreciate the new asymmetrical medium roads we got with the new hubs and transport free update. A major flaw of the traffic has always been that there haven't been realistic turn lanes, especially at busy intersections. So the medium asymmetrical roads finally give us that 3+2 asymmetrical road, so we have better turn lanes. Still not perfect, but if you have the mass transit DLC, you have access to these new medium roads. You know, I've definitely got some opinions about the mass transit DLC. Monorail's cool, but ferries, blimps, and cable cars are not mass transit. Sorry. But putting that aside, these asymmetrical roads are definitely a game changer, especially if you're a vanilla or console player. So you should definitely check that out. Before we jump into the cinematics, hit that like button. Tell me what you think about this build. Love to hear, and subscribe for more console builds, and also coming soon to a computer or mobile device near you. I bought a PC, so a new modded series is coming soon too.